In the previous episode, I cycled into Stornoway into the grounds of Lewes Castle to play on some of the mountain bike trails. I did reminisce about the times I used to do this with Winston, but he's now too old for this type of activity. Still, I managed to have a little bit of fun and I made it down in one piece. I then gave you a tour of Laxdale Holiday Park, which was our last campsite in the Outer Hebrides on our 64-day adventure. So last night at about 11:30, I do what I do every night and I took Winston out to go to the toilet before we go to bed. Now at this time, he always has a poo. But last night I was stood in on this campsite they have a dog fouling area, so basically just like an area of grass for the dogs to go to the toilet. So I'm wandering around this dog fouling area for a fair amount of time. No poo. Winston was not showing any signs that he was going to have a poo. In fact, he was looking at me as enough to say, I'm done. So I couldn't stand out there all night. So after a while, I was like, okay, let's just go back. So we go back, get into bed, go to sleep. And then guess who wakes me up at 5:30 in the morning because he needs to go to the toilet. So I've got to get out of bed, got to put my shoes on, put my coat on, get his collar and lead, get the poo bags, go out of the caravan into the cold and the rain, walk all the way down to the other side of the campsite to the dog fouling area, and then stand there whilst he has a poo, pick it all up, everything, come all the way back again. As soon as I come in the caravan, he jumps back onto the bed and steals my side of the bed and he goes to sleep. By the time I put his collar and lead away and took my coat off and shoes off and about to get ready into bed, he's asleep already on my side of the bed. He's down here now. Yeah, I'm talking about you. Yes, because you meant I had to get up at 5:30 this morning and go out in the rain. So anyway, not the best start to today, or certainly not the one I was hoping for, because today is moving day, and it is a big moving day because we are leaving the Outer Hebrides today. So we are catching the ferry from Stornoway to Ullapool. So, what's he doing? He's here now. I feel like I'm becoming a bit of a pro at this now. This is our 4th and final ferry of this trip. So, let's crack on.
I was quietly protective of my heart to reassure that I couldn't break to pieces and be left alone once more. If you hadn't been so patient, you'd be easy to ignore. You put up with all my till you didn't anymore. And now I stand here calling at your door. Oh, now I stand here calling at your door. Yeah, I'm yours, anywhere you want. Yeah, I'm yours, and now we're singing. I have been too self-involved, been protective of my feelings, but somehow you made me fall. You got underneath the surface and you shattered every wall. And I know I got that feeling, there's no question anymore. And now I stand here calling at your door. Oh, now I stand here calling at your door. Yeah, I'm yours, anywhere you want. Yeah, I'm yours, and now we're singing.
Right. So that is us in the queue. As Winston peed on some rocks. And it's weird, I feel like, let me just turn around a little bit because I'm talking to you, you see in the back of my head. I feel like it's the end of the adventure and I feel like we're going home, even though we've still got about 3 weeks left and 5 campsites still to go to. So the adventure is still very much on. But I think because a lot of the focus was on the Outer Hebrides, now that I'm going back to the mainland, I feel as though it's over, if that makes sense. Now, when it comes to my opinion and my experience of the Outer Hebrides, I don't think it's as good as what it's cracked up to be. Now, that might be because maybe my expectations were too high, or maybe the weather just ruined it for me. Or maybe there's lots of things that I missed. Maybe there's experiences that people are having in the Hebrides that I have somehow overlooked and I haven't put into my travel plans. I don't know. But in all fairness, when I get on this ferry and we get back to the mainland, I don't think I'll be rushing anytime soon to try to come back here. If I don't come back to the Outer Hebrides again and I go somewhere else, I'm okay with that. I haven't hated my time here. I've still enjoyed it. There's still been some things that I'm really happy that I've seen. I'm glad I've ticked them off my box. I'm glad that I've experienced the Outer Hebrides. But yeah, it wasn't as good as what I was expecting. But again, maybe my expectations were a little bit too high, or maybe just the weather ruined it for me. Who knows? But yeah. Now, of course, that is just my personal opinion. There are still many people who love the Outer Hebrides and they come back every single year. So if you are thinking of doing a trip here, don't let me put you off. This is just my opinion, my experience, and I am just one person. Now, I don't regret coming here and I'm still glad that I've done it, but I am looking forward to getting back to the mainland. It's probably raining there too. Oh look! Rain just started. As soon as I said that, rain. Oh, gotta love the British weather, or not.
Of my heart to reassure that it couldn't break to pieces and be left alone once more. You got underneath the surface and you shattered every wall, and I know I got that feeling, there's no question anymore.
So I thought that I would use my time wisely and do some video editing whilst on the ferry. I had my laptop and my headphones and I was ready to work. But shortly after leaving Stornoway, I got very seasick and I was given a sick bag. Now, there was 2 gentlemen sat next to me who were joking with me, saying that the waters weren't that bad. And they weren't. It could have been a lot worse. But it was still enough to make me want to evacuate my breakfast. But let's leave this vlog here for a moment and take a short trip down memory lane. So here are some of the highlights of what Winston and I got up to in the Outer Hebrides. So this was our first full day. We were on the Isle of Barra and it was the only day that resembled summer. And I remember having to push that bike up that hill. The other 27 days consisted of wind, rain and temperatures of 4 degrees Celsius, and this was in June 2024. Now, after exploring the Isle of Barra, we caught our second ferry to the Isle of South Uist. It was here where I took Winston for his one and only island swim, although it was only a short one because it was a lot colder than it looked. The rain returned, but that did not stop us from hiking the highest hill on Eriskay. We were then on the move again, this time to North Uist, where I jammed my finger in my car door and I had a good moan about the weather. I cheered myself up by going on a bike ride. And not wanting to miss an opportunity, I went swimming in some very cold Scottish waters before we travelled to the Isle of Benbecula. It was here where we walked a nature trail, we hiked to the top of a small hill on a flat island, we saw a statue of a bear, and ran into a deer. Am I the only person that can't shower in 7.5 minutes? It was then time for some more travelling as we made our way to our third ferry, which took us to the Isle of Harris. We hiked to see a lighthouse that was over 200 years old, and this was a very good day. We then battled more bad weather, explored an abandoned bus, and almost got blown away as we walked to a temple. My chemical toilet sprang a leak, and I had a social evening hanging out with other campers before moving campsite to the Isle of Lewis. At this point in the adventure, I was a bit depressed, so I spent a day sleeping in the pod before sucking it up and getting back out there. I got to see some standing stones, I got to explore the insides of an Iron Age broch, and I also saw an old mill and kiln, along with an arch made from the jawbone of a whale.
I think I'm ill.
We were then off to our final campsite in Stornoway, where we got to walk around the grounds of Lewes Castle. I also went out on a solo bike ride to see a memorial, which turned out to be a very emotional day for me, but I did get some delicious cakes. And for my final day in the Outer Hebrides, I went to play on some bike trails. Right, race you home. Right, back to this vlog. Now, my seasickness has now progressed and I'm sat outside in the freezing cold. But at least I get to see some good views from the ferry as we arrived into Ullapool. So this reversing was actually harder than it looks because there were no visual markers, it was just grass. So I couldn't tell if I was straight or not, and I also couldn't tell how far back I'd gone. So instead, I just used the motor mover. It's still rainy and windy on the mainland of Scotland. So I'm just taking Winston for a little walk down this stone beach, just this second pitched. There's the pod in the background. I thought I'm already in my waterproofs, I'm already wet, I'm already cold. Winston's been stuck in the van for a long time, so yeah, I'm gonna go for a little wander and then go and get warm in the pod and have some tea. And that's another day done. Need to plan what we're going to be doing over the next 4 days. I have a little bit of an idea, but yeah, need to plan what we're doing when. It was actually quite weird driving from the ferry port to here. It's only about a 3-mile drive, not long at all. But I remember driving this last September when I did the North Coast 500. I have this thing where I don't like to go back to the same place twice. I mean, even if I absolutely love a place, I'm not a fan of it, of doing the same place more than one time. I kind of think there's so many amazing places you can go to. My dog's having a poo, I'm just getting a poo bag. There's so many amazing places you can pooing in the sea. So many amazing places you can go to. Why don't you go to a different place? That's kind of like my opinion. So it was really weird. I'm trying to open a poo bag at the same time. It was really weird driving down the road. This isn't going well. Hang on. Let me do this and I'll speak to you in a minute. Right, my camera's got all rainwater on it now. Can't remember what I said. Oh yeah, that was it. I was driving through Ullapool and it was just... Look at these weird rocks in weird positions. Oh, right. I was basically saying I was driving to Ullapool and it was really nice to drive somewhere that I've seen before, and they felt kind of nostalgic, the fact that I remember driving through this place and walking through Ullapool and up Ullapool Hill all last year when I was doing, not all last year, last September when I was doing the North Coast 500. So it was just a yeah, it was just a nice nostalgic moment. That's all I wanted to say. There was really no other point to this than that. But I'm gonna get this walk done and then I can go and get some food and get warm. Right, so just took the bike off the roof, just completely dripping, and put it on, you wet too, Winston, put it on the front of the pod with the cover over. Could have left it on the roof, but it's just going to get wet, isn't it? So, plus I'm going out in the van tomorrow, I think, and I prefer to go out without it strapped to the roof. So, sorted the bike out. I need to get hooks out and put places this. Anyway, and then I thought, whilst I'm outside, I'll just go to the toilet. Walked up to the toilets, and I forgot that these toilets have a PIN code. The PIN code is on my phone, the phone is in the pod, so yeah. I had to walk all the way back, and I'm just going to have to pee in the pod, because I'm not walking back out again. Whew! I was going to have, or well, I had planned to have just a cheese sandwich for tea. I thought something quick and easy, but I'm cold, I want something warm. So I've got some chicken soup, and I'm going to have some hot rice pudding and jam for dessert.
much better in this weather. I just want something warm in my hands. Another thing, completely going back to what I was talking about a minute ago when I went down the ladies' toilet, there's some there's some incredible views from this campsite with these, where you've just got the water and then these big cliffs. And you can't see a lot at the moment because it's a little bit cloudy and misty, but I hope it clears at some point because that is going to be fantastic. Now, I have checked the weather report because I have such great access to the beach. I thought we might be able to get the paddleboard out. We just need a nice day, some still waters, a nice day, low wind. But it's meant to be raining for the next 4 days, which is how long we are here for. So, typical. Although it is Scotland, it could change. However, anytime I've seen Scottish weather change... Let me say that again. I'm just so flustered. Every time I have seen Scottish weather change, it's always changed to be worse. Very rarely has it changed to be better. So I'm not getting my hopes up. But let me get out of my waterproof pants, hang up stuff to dry. You can't see the pod at the moment, but there's just stuff everywhere where I've thrown stuff in. Let me sort all this out. Let me get some food. Winston, why are you sat on my coat? It's an absolute pain. Right. See you in a bit.
How many times have I fallen for you? Every promise you never delivered. How many times all the words that you said had me mixing the sweet with the bitter? But I know what you're saying, don't need no explaining. You're making me shake and shiver. You're shining your shoes, but hey, I got news, I ain't falling for all